Good morning. It's Friday morning. Um, I'm either fuzzy on the screen or my eyes are fuzzy. I don't know. Who knows? When it comes to what kind of picture Facebook is taking of me and on my phone, it's different from one day to the next. Maybe I need a new phone. Maybe I need a new face. It could be one or the other. We don't know. I very grateful for yesterday. Um, we had a very good prayer meeting. I had a good program yesterday at the Bradford Park Care Center at Nixa, and we were able to minister to folks there. And then we had a rather long prayer meeting, and it went so long, in fact, that we missed the lunch specials in town and wound up going to Taco Bell, which is good because Jesse is the manager of Taco Bell. And Jesse's like a third son to me because he grew up with my younger son, Charlie, and he was at my house as often as he was anywhere else, including school. Figure that out. Oh, no, Dad. The teachers are having a special meeting today. We don't have school today. We're just going to hang out. It's like I was born at night, but not last night. The thing is that I was willing to believe them because I had work to do and I was rushing off to someplace, So we went to Taco Bell, had a great time. So had more fellowship afterward. And then for some reason, I talked to several of the pastors on the phone later. They would call me and we would talk. We were talking about our main meeting this month, which will be, I don't know, the third Thursday, whatever that is. There's 5 Thursdays this month. Can you dig that? 5 Thursdays in July. That way you stretch out July to make it feel even hotter, you know. Well, we talked about what preachers do. We talked about things we want to talk about and pray for each other. The church has never been weaker than it is right now. It's weaker every day. Because mainly there are weak people in the pulpit. They're more afraid of what the world will say about them than what God says to them. In the Bible, they're called hirelings. They're just hired help. And sometimes that's needed. In hospitals, you need chaplains. Um, in care centers where we go, and as you know, we go to 90 something. It was over 100, but I think a couple closed down. You know, with all the Medicaid and Medicare cuts, there are care centers and hospitals in rural areas closing down every day because we refuse to take care of our old people. Why am I laughing? Because I figure if I keep smiling, nobody will shoot me because I'm speaking against the prevalent feeling of today. Yes, hospitals are closing, so we go to fewer of them. Yes, nursing homes are closing, so we go to fewer of them. This time last year, we were going to 110. Now we're going to 90 and something. Why? Because some of them are closed down. That's why. Couldn't function anymore. You cut $1 trillion out of health care, somebody's got to pay. And the first casualties were rural hospitals, clinics, and old folks' homes. What happens to the old folks in those homes when they close down? You got me. I'm sure they're shuttled off somewhere else. But chaplaincy care is necessary. And in hospice, hospice has its own chaplaincy. I was not interested in chaplain's work until we started doing the nursing homes. I don't know how long ago it was, 8 or 9 years ago. And I realized it was necessary because, in a way, these folks are homeless too. And so many times they're just stuck in a place. And by no means all, I'm just saying some of them. I know people in homes where we go where their family is faithfully attending them daily. I mean, there's somebody around them all the time. And there are conditions and circumstances where there's no other way. But I started out to say that there's a difference between a chaplaincy, which is comfort care. You want to sit there and hold their hand, sing them a song, recite scripture to them, answer their questions, let them talk, be there. That's chaplaincy. That's a chaplain's job. A preacher's job is different. A preacher is a prophet. He represents God to man and says what God says. And if you don't know what God says, you don't need to be preaching. So there's a difference. Everybody loves chaplains because they're trying to comfort people. A preacher wants to comfort the afflicted, but he also wants to afflict the comfortable. Part of my job is to make Christians who think that everything is fine understand that things are not fine. And that we live in a lost and dying world, and that people are starving and dying every day. And that in most cases they are starving and dying and homeless and dying without Christ. So, well, Jimmy, aren't you kind of prejudiced, you being a Christian? Well, that's my faith. Go jump on the Pope for being a Catholic. Jump on Gandhi for being a Hindi. A Hindu. This is who I am. This is what I do. I don't dance. I do a little bit of comedy and I play the guitar. But it's not much of a show. No, this is my act. This is what I do. If I wasn't promoting Christ, my entire life would be a lie. I'd be a phony. So I am promoting Christ to you. In many ways, the same way as the church does, the Catholic Church. Except I'm not a Catholic, and it's a little late in the game to change my stripes. But I'm honest enough to understand that there was a time when we were all Catholics. And it was the only game in town. And the more I read the church fathers, the more I understand. I have friends who don't read anymore because they're afraid that they will read something that will upset their apple cart. When the Catholic Church takes a stand on morals, if they take a stand against, say, abortion, or they take a stand against, they take a stand for the humane treatment of immigrants, of the stranger, boy, they get a lot of flack. or they come out in opposition for the death penalty. They get a lot of flack. You see, I wear criticism as a badge of honor. If ungodly people hate me, it's because I'm doing my job. If I make the rich mad and the comfortable mad, it's because I'm doing what God sent me to do. You know, Jesus said this to John the Baptist, "What went ye out in the wilderness for to see? A man dressed in soft clothes? What went ye out for to see?" What they went out and saw was a hairy man clothed in a leather girdle, and all he ate was locust and wild honey. And he preached, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." And he baptized all of Israel that would come for the remission of their sins, to prepare the way for the Lord. The remission of they came confessing their sins, but it was a national baptism. He was gathering a people ready to meet their God. Prepare ye, O Israel, to meet thy God. It all spoke of him, and he did it. And then the one he spoke of came, the Lord Jesus. I'm so glad you're here, Shanna. I take comfort in knowing that there are you and a couple of hundred other people watch this every day. Sometimes I get a lot more. Sometimes I get a few less. But the early part of the week, I had some, either I had a technical problem or I had some suppression. But eventually, those programs Monday and Tuesday that I was worried about that I didn't think anybody saw, over the period of days, their numbers build up. That's a good thing about social media. If they don't see you when you're on the air, or like when you're live streaming, they'll see you later. I do want to remind everybody that if something happens with Facebook, I'm still on YouTube. I'll upload these every day on YouTube. The good thing about YouTube is the programs are archived. They don't dump them. Facebook dumps all your videos every 25 or 30 days. It's less than a month. So you can't go back on my page and look at videos from months ago, but you can on YouTube. And so if you want to go back and check out other books that I've done on the morning program, I'm James Harris on Facebook with 2 R's and 2 S's, and Jimmy Harris on YouTube with 2 R's and 2 S's. I don't know why. I think, when I was filling out the thing to set it up, that's how it was. I don't know why I did it like that. Maybe I just ate a bar of chocolate. There's no explanation for it. My name is James. When I became a musician, everybody started calling me Jimmy. And then when I was a kid, they called me Jimmy because my dad was Jimmy and I was little Jimmy. So in the music world, it stuck. All my friends in school called me James. And I think of myself as a James. So I have not suffered any abuse. I've not suffered any harm. But I get laughed at a lot. But I got invited to preach at the next cadre meeting. And me and a couple other guys. Oh, let me rephrase that in the King's English. 2 other gentlemen and I will speak probably about 30 minutes apiece over the 4-hour meeting and have some discussion. And we're just going to be talking about Jesus and focusing on Jesus. And I know I have many Catholic friends who watch. You probably don't sing this song in your worship, but this is an old Baptist song that I like a lot. And that's going to be the theme of the next meeting. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will go strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. That will be the theme of our next meeting. And there should be something like 30 plus pastors from Southwest Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas that are gathered around to give each other a little support. Good morning, Jennifer. God bless you. God bless you. I hope you sell a house today. I've been backing up all the way through the seal judgments, and I'm wasting a lot of time. So if you want to recap the seal judgments, you can in chapters 6 and 7 and 8. I'm just going to recap the trumpets because we're in the trumpet judgments now. I'll try to restrict myself to only going backwards as far enough as I have a new commentary for it. If I look a little washed out, it's because I slept too long again, but when I get to sleep, I really get excited about it. I think I slept from about 3 o'clock until 8 o'clock without waking up. I was so happy. So we're in chapter 9. We began 2 or 3 days ago, we began the 5th trumpet, which is the first woe. And just a recap of the trumpet judges, when the 7th seal is open, Jesus opens the 7th seal, and there's some earthquakes and lightnings and stuff in heaven and on the earth. Doesn't mention anybody getting killed, but it also releases the 7 angels that have the 7 trumpets. I'll never get over big band music. I just really like big band music. I like the way that the band would play for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then the singer would just come on and sing one verse, and then it was the end of the song. They were long because people were out there dancing and doing that. The 7 trumpets. The first trumpet sounded. There was hail and fire with blood. 1/3 of the trees and all the green grass were burned up. The second trumpet, the great mountain cast into the sea. We speculated volcano, geyser, seismic activity of some kind, lava flow. A third part of the sea becomes blood. A third part of the creatures in the sea died. And a third part of the ships were destroyed. The third trumpet is where the star falls from heaven, the meteorite, the comet, whatever it was, it hits the earth. It came upon a third part of the waters and the fountains of waters on all the rivers. It's a freshwater attack. And the name of the star is Wormwood. And wormwood means poison. It poisoned the water. It poisoned the springs, the sources of the water, the sources of the rivers, the aquifers. And as a third part of the fresh water on the earth is destroyed, it becomes poison, undrinkable. Can't drink it. And many men died because of the poisoned water. And you must remember that during the seal judgments, in just the first 4 seal judgments, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, that 1/4 of the people on the earth died during those months of the 4 horsemen. The tribulation is going to be a time of great wars and great calamities. And as we see, great natural disasters too. The 4th trumpet, that's where the sun was shrouded. It only It was dark for a third part of the day. The moon was, and the stars were shrouded. It was dark for a third part of the night. And then the angel comes out and cries that woe, woe, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth dwellers, because of the three trumpets that are yet to sound. So the first four trumpet judgments are really bad, but the angel says that the next three trumpets are going to be worse. And he calls them special woes. There's woe, woe, and woe. Well, we're on the first woe in chapter 9. We began the other day. The woe judgments. And they are in a special category because they are extremely severe. And if there was any doubt on the part of anybody, this unleashes supernatural factors that the Antichrist and his governments and all the rich people and the people who run things, they're not going to be able to explain it away because nobody could do these things with God. Although we talked about how some of these judgments were similar to the judgments of God on Egypt. And Pharaoh's magicians, they were able to copy those miracles up into the seventh plague of Egypt. Then they weren't able to copy it anymore. Because remember, magic is not magic at all. Magic is illusion and sleight of hand and distraction. It's tricks to make you think you saw something you didn't see, or to make you see something you thought you didn't see. You know, a perfect example is David Copperfield making the elephant disappear on the stage. Now, that elephant didn't just vanish into thin air. It's someplace. I don't know where it is because he's a good magician. But what this stuff means is that this is actually beyond nature. It is in the supernatural realm. All of these judgments from now on cannot be explained by natural phenomena. And that's why they start getting worse. Because although we count all of the judgments from Revelation 6 to Revelation 19 as the wrath of God, there's a progression where things get worse and worse and worse. Just like the world is getting worse and worse and worse as we gear up toward the coming of the Lord and the rapture. And tell you what, I know that my position is a minority position nowadays. The rapture of the church. Most people believe that the rapture and the resurrection, the second coming of Christ, are all one event. I don't. But whether you believe the way I do is not important. I would encourage you to research and to listen to what I say and to look up all the references about the rapture. And that's the snatching up of the church into heaven, all believers. Even out of the graves, all believers, all believers all the way back to the day of Pentecost. Anybody saved from the day of Pentecost to the day of the rapture. The church, in other words, is for the church. It's a special thing for the church only. If you don't believe that, it's okay. Your salvation doesn't depend on it. But I look around at this world, and that, of course, the rapture is known as the blessed hope. And that's the only hope I have in the world, is the blessed hope. My only hope of things getting better is Jesus is coming to take me out of here. And so, if you don't believe in the rapture, it does not affect your standing with Christ or with me. But if you did believe in the rapture, you would be a lot happier, because you would know that pretty soon you will be gone from here and you won't have to look at the misery on the earth anymore. And so I encourage you to study. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. As I say, mine is now a minority position. For a couple of hundred years, it was the majority position. It was the position of the church fathers, Ignatius and Irenaeus, and several others. Certainly the position of John the Apostle, because he wrote this. And he also wrote the second greatest rapture passage in the Bible, John chapter 14, where Jesus says, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also." Let's talk about the first woe, the first trumpet judgment. But whether you believe in the rapture or not, you're not going to be here for this. Because God promises that we are not appointed unto wrath. Jesus promises that he has delivered us from the wrath to come. And the fifth angel sounded, chapter 9, verse 1. And I saw a star fall from heaven unto earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. Now we determined that this was an angel and not a star, because he is a personage. He is given a key, and he uses that key. And he opened the bottomless pit. This is the abyss, the abyss pit, or the pit of the abyss, or the hole of the abyss. We talked about it being probably endless, because it goes into another dimension that we can't measure. That's beyond our measure, beyond our ability to conceive. Infinity for a finite mind is probably hard to conceive. I know it is for mine. Maybe it wouldn't have been for Stephen Hawking or somebody like that, or Albert Einstein, but it is for Jimmy Harris. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. More natural disasters. Is it belching out fire and brimstone? Is it the door to hell? And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth. Remember, all the green grass was burned up in the first trumpet. So this must be months later, maybe a year later, because the entirety of chapters 6, verse 1 through 11, verse 15 takes place in the first 3.5 years of the tribulation. There is a demarcation point when the two witnesses in Jerusalem were slain and taken up into heaven. That is the demarcation line. That's the 17th parallel for you Vietnam veterans. And that's for the Vietnam era, we heard on the news every day. In the DMZ, the demarcation zone. In other words, nobody was supposed to go over it, so they went around it. How many friends did we lose in Vietnam? How first Kennedy, and then and now this. It's almost too much to countenance. You can tell when some of us are ready to go home. But as long as he leaves me here, I'll work for him. And you need to be of that attitude too. we're going to serve Christ while we're here. We're going to serve Christ while we're here. You know, he said, occupy till I come. And you get old like me, and I can't do what I used to do. I have to turn down some things. But do what you can do. You know, if you can't get out and all you can do is sit in your chair and read your Bible and pray, then by golly Wally, sit in your chair and pray and read your Bible and intercede for those that are out there. Pray for those who are doing the work. I find myself doing more and more of that because I'm doing less and less of the work. And it was commanded them, these locusts, it was commanded them that they should not hurt the green grass, the grass of the earth. Well, in those, since the first trumpet, some of the grasses had time to grow back. I won't hurt any of the green thing nor any tree. A third of the trees are already been destroyed. They haven't had time to grow back. So there's still 2/3 of the trees left. It says don't hurt any tree. But only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. Now what locusts do is they come and they eat every green thing. They eat every herb. They eat every leaf. They pick the country bare so that you don't have anything left. They destroy the land. They eat the crops. They eat the leaves off the trees. They eat the grass. They eat everything there is. And then they're gone. A plague of locusts. Except for these locusts are not regular locusts. A lot of people believe that they're devils or demons, or that they're actually locusts that are indwelled with demonic spirits, which is possible because demons are spirits and they can't get around without a physical body, or they can't do anything to people without a physical body. We'll explore this in a minute. And to them was given that they should not, hurt any green tree, any green thing, any tree, any grass, but only the men who have not the seal of God in their foreheads, those who the Holy Ghost is not sealed with the seal of redemption, which means the unsaved, those who have not given their life to Christ. So it'll be those who either have the mark of the beast already, or those who have not taken the mark but have not followed Christ. There will come a time when they won't be able to be in the middle anymore. You'll either worship the Antichrist or you'll follow Christ and die. Better get saved right now. Don't wait till later. Avoid the rush. Avoid the rush. To them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as a torment of a scorpion when he striketh the man. I know it's completely different, but I think about these flesh-eating bacteria that you go swimming and all of a sudden you're deteriorating, you're disintegrating, and there's not much they can do about it except amputate and hope they get it. It's a really weird thing. It says that, and in those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die for 5 months. So that is there are 6-month periods. 7 6 months periods in the Great Tribulation. The first half. You got first year, 12 months, second year, 12 months, third year, 12 months, and then 6 months, 3.5 years. So this takes nearly one of those 6-month periods, a 5-month period out of 42 months. That's a pretty good chunk of time that these scorpions are going to be tormented, the unsaved upon the earth. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. They wish they could die, but they can't die. It's a supernatural thing. You may have people trying to kill themselves, and it's not working. You'll have people wishing that they would go ahead and die from the locust, but they don't die. So men will seek death and not find it. It won't kill them, but it'll torment them for 5 months. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns of gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. Yet it says that they were locusts. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. We talked about this yesterday. And they had breastplates, in verse 9, as it were the breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses rushing to battle. Now, if you've ever seen The Good Earth, which was a great movie, nearly 100 years old now, about China around the turn of the century, the 20th century, and the peasants, and there's a farmer that has a couple of strokes of good luck because he has a good wife, Onan, and it was Pearl S. Buck's novel, The Good Earth. And in the movie, the locusts come, and you can't hear anything but the locusts. They're loud. I've watched videos of modern day plagues of locusts that come up on the land. You can look at it on YouTube, and it'll be quiet. You can hear them a long time before you see them. What they must have done is they must have been like in this wheat field or barley field or some kind of grain. Seen in the video, they'll set up their cameras pointing at the horizon, maybe a hill up there. Because see, they hear them coming for a long time, so they wanted to film them coming over and destroying the crops. And you hear them a long time before they top the mountain, and then there's just like a black cloud, a solid cloud that rises up over the hill and comes down the hillside. And you can't see the grass of the hill because they're eating the grass, and then behind them there ain't nothing but dust where the grass used to be, and then they start coming across the crops, and there's millions of them, and the sound is loud. It sounds like a bunch of helicopters. They had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron. Were they really iron? So they were like breastplates of iron. Why? Because people would probably stomp on them and not kill them. They'd just get up and keep going. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses rushing to battle. It's loud. That many locusts make a lot of noise. I mean, it'd be millions of them. This is a supernatural thing, though. These particular locusts, they come straight out of hell. Are they demons? Are they locusts that are demon possessed? I think they're supernatural. And I think they could be regular locusts that are souped up. Let's look at it. Another verse. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. That's the second time it's going to be a 5-month deal. It says that it says in verse 3, and it says, there come out of the earth, out of the smoke, locust upon the earth, and unto them was given power and scorpion, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And then down here in verse 5, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, the people, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh the man. And it says that in their tails, they'll have tails like scorpions. So they see that this is a supernatural creature of some kind, maybe a special creation, but either that or it's a locust where in his tail he's got a stinger, a special deal beyond nature. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. And their power was to hurt men for 5 months. Again, the third time, the 5-month ordeal. I wanted to paint this picture for you in a way that it could be a special, supernatural manifestation happening. And that's true. That could happen. God can do anything he wants to do. But I want you to bear in mind that a devil, demons, they look for a body to be in. And if we go back to the maniac of Gadara, we'll see that he was possessed of devils. In chapter 5. The maniac of Gadara is possessed with devils. And then Jesus confronts the devils. And they say, well, they beg Jesus when he sends them out of the maniac that they could go into a bunch of pigs because they wanted to be in a body. Well, a pig is a mammal. The locust is an insect, but they're still a body, an animal body, a creature. Good morning, Pastor Susie. God bless you. I want you to consider this, that these could be regular locusts that are possessed by demons. They both came out of the bottomless pit. Verse 26, chapter 8 of Luke, the Gospel according to St. Luke. And they arrived at the country of the Gadarenes, which is over against Galilee. It means over, it means on the other side of the lake, or the Sea of Galilee, the Lake of Galilee. Remember, it's not a sea, it's not salt water, it's a big freshwater lake, And it is wide enough that you can't see from one side to the other. Big lake. And he went forth to the land. And there met him out of the city a certain man which had devils a long time, and wear no clothes, neither abode in any house, but in the tombs. And when he saw Jesus, he cried out, and he fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God Most High? I beseech thee, torment me not. For Jesus had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For oftentimes it had caught him, and he was kept bound with chains and in fetters, and he brake the bands, and was driven of the devil into the wilderness. And Jesus asked him, saying, What is thy name? And he said, Legion, because many devils were entered into him. In Mark it said, Legion, for we are many. A legion was 6,000 Roman soldiers. Were there 6,000 demons in that one man? I don't know, but there could have been. There was a bunch. He said that many devils were entered into him. And they besought him that he would command him, not command them to go out into the deep. The deep. What is the deep? Same word as the abyss, the bottomless pit. They came out of the bottomless pit to enter into this man, and you don't want them to go back to the bottomless pit, to the abyss. They don't want to go back. And there was in hurry, because he said he besought them that they would not command them to go out into the deep. It's the same place where a strong angel is going to lock Satan for 1,000 years. In chapter 20 of Revelation, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Remember, this pit was opened wide when these locusts came out in chapter 9. Now in chapter 20, I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is called the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed a little season. And Jesus asked him, the devil that spoke to him from the maniac at Gadara, Jesus asked him, saying, what is thy name? And he said, Legion, because many devils were entered into him. You ever known somebody that had devils in them? I have. And they besought him that he would not command them to go out into the deep, the abyss, the pit. And there was there an herd of many swine feeding on the mountain. And they besought him that he would suffer them to enter into them. And he suffered them. And then went the devils out of the man and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down a steep place into the lake and were choked. They were looking for a body to be in. But when those devils went in those pigs, it scared them so bad that they run off a cliff and into the water. I might just do the same thing. I don't know. I've never been possessed by devils. I've certainly been oppressed by devils, but not possessed. So the idea that these could be physical, natural creations that are modified in special creation by God, or that are transmogrified by a wicked spell of Satan. Whichever is true, these are organic, living creatures, natural creatures that are somehow infused with these satanic powers. And I maintain that these special locusts that come out of the pit are possessed just like the pigs became possessed. Because without a physical body to do something with, an angel can't touch. An angel is a spirit being. He can't pick anything up or do anything. He's got to manifest physically. And we have no record in the Bible of a fallen angel manifesting as a human. We have many instances of a holy angel, an angel who remained loyal to God during the Great Rebellion, of their taking on the shape of human beings. But never a demon and never the devil. They have to enter into somebody. On the night of the betrayal, Satan entered into Judas Iscariot. He possessed Judas Iscariot. This is chronicled both in Luke and in John. Verse 11. And now, regarding these locusts, and they had a king over them. The God of this world. They had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. He's got a job. He is the head angel of that bottomless pit. He's in charge of that pit. Whose name is in the Hebrew tongue Abaddon. which means destroyer. Abaddon, destroyer. But in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. He's unleashed upon the earth. He is the director, the motivator, the general over these locusts that are demonically possessed or controlled. Abaddon is their king. In Greek, his name is Apollyon. It means destroyer. Now, this is speculation, but Satan is the prince of the power of the air. Satan is the god of this world. He's the prince of this world. Jesus says, now is the prince of this world judged. Now is the God of this world judged, and he hath no part in me. This is my hour. The hour of Satan. He goes in this is the hour of darkness. Satan walks around us. Satan is on the loose. You know that. He's the prince of the power of the air. He's the God of this world. Jesus called him the God of this world, called him the prince of this world. In 1 Peter, always remember this, because see, Satan is alive, and well, Satan is alive right now in heaven, standing before the throne of God and accusing me of everything that I've ever done. Look at Jimmy. He's a drunk. He's a liar. He's a cheat. And then Jesus says, he's mine. And God says, case dismissed. But the devil accuses me before the Father. He accuses all the brethren before the Father day and night. This is clear from the last half of chapter 12 of Revelation. But the devil is alive, and he comes to the earth to torment, and to deceive, to lie, to kill, and to destroy. He's at work upon the earth. He's among us. Peter says in verse 8 of chapter 5 of 1 Peter, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. He wants to chew you up and swallow you. Jesus told Peter, when Peter denied that he would deny Jesus, that he would turn from Jesus. Jesus told Peter, he said, Satan hath desired to sift thee like wheat, but I have prayed for you, and after you've been converted, strengthen the brethren. And Peter swore he would go to jail and die for Jesus. And Jesus says, before the cock crows, thou shalt deny thrice that thou knowest me. Jesus told Peter, Satan desires to sift you like wheat. Peter writes as an old man, the devil, your adversary, walks about seeking whom he may devour. The devil wants to eat you up. Peter's remembering, I remember a night when he ate me up and spit me out, and the Lord restored me. I remember that. Now, the devil is alive and well and living on the planet Earth, and he is trying to destroy Christians daily. He goes to heaven and accuses us before the Father. Now, he goes wherever he wants to go. But this Abaddon, this Apollyon, he's locked up right now. He's not going to be let out until sometime during the first half of the Great Tribulation. There are angels we think about how bad Satan is. There are angels who must be worse than Satan, fallen angels, like this Abaddon, this Apollyon, because he's kept under lock and key right now while Satan gets to go free. Could he be worse than Satan is? It's hard to imagine, but that certainly brings about speculation. If Satan is able to move around freely, but they got this one angel locked up in the bottomless pit until sometime in the first half of the Great Tribulation, he must be a really bad dude. He's got his own special place, and he's under lock and key, and he doesn't get out until one of God's angels lets him out. And that's when all these locusts come spilling out on the earth. And their general, their king, is this Abaddon, this Apollyon. Now that's enough to blow your gourd, man. It makes me want to go listen to Yellow Submarine, because I need a Ringo song to make me happy. In the town where I was born lived a man who sailed the sea. Ringo always makes me happy. Ringo makes me laugh. So, I have to go to my happy place after having to face the idea of somebody worse than Satan. Satan gets to go free and this guy's kept under lock and key. Think about that, man. There are things in heaven and earth, as Shakespeare wrote, that we don't know anything about. Well, it tells us a little bit about it here, but it doesn't tell us everything about it. It tells me just enough to get shook up. I'm all shook up. Mm-hmm. And then after this, it says, one woe is past. This is the fifth trumpet. Remember, there are three woes. They're worse than the first four trumpet judgments, worse than the 7 seal judgments. This is the fifth trumpet, the first woe, and it says at the verse 12, one woe is past. And behold, there cometh 2 woes more hereafter, or after these things. After all this, there's still going to be 2 more woes. Are they worse than the first woe or the fifth trumpet? We still have the 6th and the 7th trumpet to sound. 2 more woes. Well, I better woe me on out of here. I did this without eating this morning because I just drank a couple of cups of coffee and said, let's get on with it, because I was already running late. Now, next week, I may be in camp, but I don't know the schedule. We'll see. Last year when I was at camp, I was able to do the program every morning. There were some mornings I had to do it before breakfast in chapel, and there were some mornings where I got detained with duties at the camp and had to do the program after breakfast in chapel. But see, that's why I'm there, is to eat breakfast. No, I'm there to do chapel. But I get to eat breakfast first. And then in the evening we have supper, and then we have a chapel after supper. That is my goal. That is my task when I go to camp. It's a youth camp, and I will be the camp pastor. And again, I'm not sure about the schedule. And even as I speak, we're not sure. We're not sure that it's going to happen, because there are several factors going on that may, a lot of kids have pulled out for some reason or another. And so just pray for the situation. But if I go to camp, it'll be every weekday next week. Well, I leave Monday morning to go to camp, so I'll do Monday morning's program from home. But for Tuesday through Friday, it will be when I can do it. And if the internet signal is good. Last year I was able to do it just fine. But you never can tell. It's out in the sticks. If they got a different internet provider, or if there's a tree in the way, I don't know how it works. I may not be able to get out, but I just like you all to pray for me. I will be here at the regular time tomorrow and Sunday, so we'll just keep going. Tomorrow's a holiday, but I don't do holidays. I love you all very much. Hello, Steve. God bless you, Steve, my old friend, Pastor Steve Youngblood. You turned in just in time because I talked about all the terrible things in the first woe judgment in chapter 9 of Revelation, so you didn't have to listen to it. I love you. Give your best. Give my best to your dear wife and assure her of my undying affection. God bless you all.